because people will try to find that small crack to be like, oh, well, she didn't say this, so let me, no. We're gonna clear it up right here, right now. Hey, what's going on, family? It's your girl Tatiana Moss, and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, I talk about sexual wellness, fashion, lifestyle, career, entrepreneurship advice. So if any of those things are of interest to you, go ahead and click that subscribe button down below so you can become a part of the family too. And for my returning viewers, hey family, what's going on? Thank you so much for coming back and clicking on another video from your girl. So today, guys, we are going to be having a kind of like chit chatty video, and also just giving you guys some tips on when you are working in the field and in general on how to set boundaries with your client. This is a really tricky thing, because setting boundaries, I feel like, is something that can get blurred so quickly if you are not intentional and you're not open and honest about what it is that you need out of this mutual relationship, whether that's in work, friendships, relationships, just anything in general. We're gonna go ahead and discuss the things that I've learned so far from working in the field. So if you guys are interested to hear my perspective and my tips and stuff like that, y'all know what to do. Give this video a thumbs up and let's get started. All right, so the first tip that I would tell you guys is, like I said, be honest. When you are honest with people, yes, it may hurt their feelings, but you're also doing yourself a disservice if you're not being open and honest and telling somebody how you feel about something, because you're not getting what you need out of the situation. So in order for you guys to both equally get what you need, you have to be open and honest. So say, for instance, I'm going to give an example. I start working with a client, and this client in particular continues to ask me about my personal life. And you know, when we get in our sessions, they might be like, well, what do you like to do? Do you have a boyfriend? Do you this? Do you that? Da. And so in order to set it right there, to let it be known, like, hey, like, I don't really feel comfortable answering those kind of questions when you first initially meet the person or client, you would more so say something like, hi, nice to meet you. My name is Tatiana. I'm going to be your social worker working with you. I'm here to help you to work on whatever issues or problems that you want to try to get better with or whatnot. I just want you to know up front that it's just certain things that, you know, I'm not going to be discussing in the sessions, things pertaining to my personal life, also just being inappropriate or whatnot. So we're going to just make sure that we have a mutual respect for one another and be open and honest, so we can be able to both get what we need out of this situation. So maybe it will go something a little bit like that, but you know, you just have to be very intentional, which brings me to my next point: being intentional and not backing down. When you set your boundaries, you have got to stick by them. Don't crack and don't bend just because somebody might make you feel uncomfortable or is confused by your boundaries. A lot of people are going to test you, and this is when you're really going to have to be strong and show that you're serious about what it is that you want in this situation. So you want to be able to just, like I said, be intentional and not crack on what it is that you are trying to desire out of this mutual relationship. I feel like another important tip on setting boundaries with a client is making sure that they set boundaries too, because as well as you want boundaries for yourself, there might be some things that they're not comfortable with talking about. For instance, maybe a client had dealt with homelessness or sexual assault, something of that sort, in their past life, and they particularly don't want to talk about it at the beginning of you getting to know them. So up front, they might say something like, hey, I would feel comfortable if, you know, we just didn't talk about certain things or whatnot. And to me, that's going to click as a boundary. Now, they might not know that that's exactly what it is, but for me as a professional in this situation, I'm going to know automatically, okay, this person, that's a boundary for them. They don't want to talk about this sensitive subject, so we're not going to talk about it until they're ready to talk about it. So making sure that you're meeting a client where they are. So like I said, they might not know that they're setting a boundary, but making sure that you're listening and hearing them out, so y'all both can be able to set your boundaries and then be able to have that good therapeutic relationship with one another, because now we're both mutually respecting each other. We know which lines not to cross, and we're being intentional. Another good tip that you can do with a client to set boundaries is role playing. If you don't know what role playing is, it's pretty much like you're acting out a particular scene or situation that can happen in real life, but you're showing somebody more so like a visual example of what it would look like. So say for instance, in a session, we're talking about boundaries, and maybe the client doesn't really know what a boundary is. So a boundary for me might be, you can't call me after 5:00 p.m. because after 5:00 p.m. I'm spending time with family or whatever I'm doing. That's me time. So my boundary is, hey, if you have any issues or any problems, this and the third, you are free to call me anytime before 5:00. But once 5:00 come, do not call me unless it is an emergency situation. And even if it is an emergency, you would call 911 first, and then you could call me at a later time to inform me of the situation as well. But that would be my boundary. So I'm setting that boundary in that role playing scenario. So we're you know, in a session, and I'm like, hey, such and such, I just wanted to let you know that, you know, after this time of the day, I'm not going to be available, blase, blase, blase. And now the client is going to try and call me after 5:00. 5:00 rolls around, I do not pick up the phone. The next time I see the client might want to bring it up. Oh, Miss Tatiana, I called you the other day or whatnot, and I was trying to tell you about something. Okay, well, what time did you call me, such and such? Oh, it was 6:30. Well, as I said before, my hours are from 9 to 5, so, you know, I don't answer the phone after 5:00 or whatnot. So if it's, like I said, an emergency or something of that sort, you will have to text me or let me know, but make sure you call 911 first. So that will kind of be like how a scenario like that will go. You're just role playing with them so they can visually see what this would look like for them. Because if you don't kind of like break it down, sometimes it'll be confusing. Because I know sometimes I get confused off of stuff too, unless I visually see it. So role playing is a really, really great way to help the client to be able to understand it from your point of view when it comes to your boundaries. All right, y'all, so another great way I feel like to set boundaries with a client is explaining your role. So sometimes people are confused by your role as a social worker or a mental health professional, a counselor, whatever it is that your role is. So when you don't exactly explain your reasoning for coming and what your job is for, the lines get blurred very, very quickly. So you have to explain, and this is probably going to have to come up more than once, your role for this client, so they are able to understand as well your boundaries and stuff. Because if not, then they're just going to feel like, okay, well, I think that this is a babysitting service, so every time Miss Tatiana comes, we're about to go get ice cream, or we're about to go do this and go do that, and that's not the case. So you have to explain off rip, hey, you know, I'm here as your mental health professional. I'm here to help you with crisis situations, with coping mechanisms, medication management, behavioral management strategies, all these different kind of things or whatever. So with me explaining this is going to kind of help the client as well know my role better in the home, so they're not confused as to my reasoning for being there, and they're like, okay, well, let me try to take advantage of this situation because I really don't know what her purpose is for here. So definitely make sure you explain your role, and explain it well, y'all, like thoroughly, because people will try to find that small crack to be like, oh, no. We're gonna clear it up right here, right now. We're gonna let you know what it is. I also feel like it's important, if you guys work with children, I feel like it's a little more tricky because, you know, you gotta, of course, incorporate the family with that or whatnot. And sometimes parents are not always on board. So you wanna have them involved in it. You wanna have them in these conversations so they both hear what you're talking about and they know what's going on, so they can be able to also work on these things that you are doing with your client and stuff like that. So it's just not going in vain, like I'm coming in, I'm just working directly with the kid and I'm not talking to the parent at all or involving the parent in the sessions and stuff. There's no way for the behavior to change because I'm only there possibly 2-3 days out of the week versus you being there 24/7, 7 days a week. So if you don't know about what it is that I'm working on this child on, then they're not going to change. I feel like I kind of got a little sidetracked, but y'all get what I'm saying. Like pretty much just making sure that you are just, yeah, explaining your role so both the parent and the child, or if you're working with an adult, know your reasoning for being there. Alright y'all, that's pretty much it as far as the tips I have for setting with boundaries. I know this video was kind of short, but I felt like, you know, it's only so much that you can say or whatever. So if you guys have any questions, please feel free to leave them down below. I also challenge you guys to answer this question down below. What has been a situation that you've been in where you felt like you had to set a boundary? And this doesn't even have to be just in the social work field or your professional field in general. This could be in your personal life too. Like, how did you set a boundary in a relationship with your boyfriend or your girlfriend or your husband or your wife? How did you set a boundary with your mom? Like, was your mom too overbearing and she's always trying to do everything for you? Like, setting these boundaries in all aspects of your life are so important because it allows you to protect yourself so you are not getting hurt, and you're also allowing people to respect you because they're going to see what some things that you are and are not going to tolerate. So I would love to hear you guys' responses, so definitely make sure that y'all sound off in the comments with those answers. If you made it all the way to the end of this video and you subscribed to the family yet, what are you waiting on? Go and click that red subscribe button down below. If you guys enjoy videos like this, please let me know. I'll try to do like some small sit down videos like this sometimes where I talk about different situations where I feel like you can work on more in the field or whatnot, as far as when it comes to clients or just in life in general. If you also enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give it a huge thumbs up. It is very much appreciated. And as I always say, thank you guys so much for your love and support that you continue to show. And you already know I will see you in my next video. Bye y'all.